Here comes the coffee pack by Darkman 425. We have two sets of two players here. On the left, we have Psychedelic Eyeball, player one, facing off against OkamiOfGames. On the right, we have Terrorvan facing off against Jakazam. Our challenges are Baru Baru. Complete 10 levels. On the Sega Master System. Flight of Pagaris on the SMS as well. 2-minute game, 16k score. And last but not least on the SNS as well, Galactic Revenge. Reach the elevator room with a lever and ride it to the next room. These are homebrew games. Oh, good. Nice work on the unlocks. This is the Mr. Triathlon. For the folks who haven't seen this before, we do this every year usually. I give the players a bunch of challenges. They don't know what they are until just now, as they load them up. And they need to beat all three of those challenges in an hour. They get 20 minutes each challenge. If they take longer than 20 minutes, they can just call it a loss. They have failed the challenge. They can just move on. 60 minutes is actually the worst time, obviously, in a race. So that's what we're up to. Challenges are up there this time. Click Sonic to ready up. It's been a while. Our matches are held up by a couple of stragglers in the mid-range matches here, so once those open up, we can do the rest. We are pretty far into the tournament. Jakazam and Terrorvan, the winner will play against Dr. Mutagen in the losers round 4, who will then go on to play Time Stalker in losers round 5. And then Genie's waiting in round 6 for the winner of that. Whoever gets through that gauntlet can face off against Genie. Down bottom, Psychedelic Eyeball versus OkamiOfGames. Whoever wins that goes against Digital Basic, who is waiting to play Nighty. The winner of that gauntlet goes on to play the winner against Gene Genie match. Whoever wins that one, Gene Genie or their opponent. And then that person will go on to the final losers bracket match against Poltergeist to finally face off against Andy up top, who has not lost a single round this entire tournament. Not one. In any capacity. They have to beat Andy twice. Because he has not won. He's not lost a single thing. So the winner of the lower bracket will face off against Andy. And if Andy wins, it's over. If Andy loses, we have our final match for sure. That is the full tournament outlined as it is now. I'm just waiting for the players to say they're ready to go. We'll get our match going. I've not seen any of these myself. This will be new to me as well. It doesn't sound like anyone here except for Darkman425 knows what these are. Good luck, players. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Match on. Pulling audio from Psychedelic Eyeball at the moment. And the clock is running. So again, this is Mr. Triathlon. I feel like we probably have some new folks in the audience for this. What we do is we give them 3 mystery games every week that we play. They get 20 minutes per game for a total of an hour time in a complete failure state, an hour time. Once they clear a challenge, they move on to the next one. The first one to clear all 3 is the winner. If they take more than 20 minutes on a specific challenge, they can just move on and call it 20 minutes at that point. You are not supposed to spend more than 20 minutes on any particular one of these, no matter what. So we have some kind of bubble bobble looking ass game, except for you have a sword. Interesting. I like that game a lot, and I'm seeing some of that here. Psych is trying to figure out how this is done. I feel like they maybe aren't familiar with Bubble Bobble. Because I know right away. What's up? You're saying my name in all caps. Did I do something wrong? Did I forget to pay my taxes? Let's take a trip to the Buccaneers Den. I'm self-employed, so I have to pay taxes quarterly. Lest I get hit with a $6,000 bill. And a penalty of $250 for not doing that. That's the joy of self-employment. Yeah, I really appreciate the Christmas time support and the around my birthday in March. That's tax season for sure for everybody. That also is a big month for me usually in support. Like I just seem like I get a wave of support then. People are really generous. Birthday and Christmas. And boy howdy, that comes in clutch. Because that is the time I really am hurting the most. Right now I'm really pushing the envelope. We got the MagFest stuff to worry about too. That's expensive. Work trip that it is. Still expensive. Okami has already beaten the first game. Okami is quite a contender. We have taken predictions on the bracket, and that's a common pick for the winning this whole thing. They were taken out by Time Stalker in round 2. If they win enough of these, they might be able to get their revenge. That is assuming that Time Stalker continues to persist as well. I don't think MagFest can afford to cancel, but I feel like they have a very good policy set. It's still a little nerve-wracking to go to a thing like that. But as far as it goes, I wouldn't have gone if they didn't have good policies in place. I'm still going to be super careful and avoid big crowds as much as I can. Tommy has killed the bull, I think. No, did they already hit 16k? Wow. They're already on the 3rd game. Okami's beaten this in 4 minutes so far. 2 games in 2 minutes on the bottom left. Meanwhile, Psych is still working on Barbara. I don't know what the fastest time we've seen in any of these are, but I feel like if that pace is kept, it's gonna be now that we're gonna set that time. I don't feel like we've ever seen less than 10 minutes. That's what I want to say. I want to say that our fastest time is somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 14 minutes. But I don't have stats tracking or anything like that. I don't keep track of that kind of thing. I run way too many events, and I don't write anything down. Maybe I should start doing that. If I were a bit more detail-oriented a person, I might have always kept track of things like that. The Arcade Pit Stats tracker is not me. Unaffiliated with me completely, they're just a fan, and they do extremely good work at that. Yeah, the difference between homebrew games and ROM hacks, I feel, is that the homebrew games are a love letter. I hate to use that cliche phrase, but it is what it means. These people make games that they actually like, and ROM hackers make you suffer. So typically when you say homebrew game, I expect it to be a reasonable challenge. It usually isn't too hard. They're going for gameplay here usually in these, and especially the starting levels of a game like that tend to be teaching you how to play rather than being mean to you. Clam chowder. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the hardest games known, like famously hard games like I Want to Be the Guy and stuff, are kind of that too, but those are built difficult and they advertise it. It's not the norm, like it is in ROM hacking. I feel like you have to go out of your way to find a ROM hack that's not obscenely hard. And it's the opposite in the homebrew world. You have to sort it the opposite direction. Psych is not having a Burrow time. This race may be over before they finish game 1 if they don't pick up the pace on that game. They gotta restart. We know it can be beaten in 2 minutes, so it's not the end of them, I guess, but Okami's been cruising through the 3rd game, which seems longer. I Wanna Be the Guy is definitely an old game that shows its age, but I loved it when I played it. I thought it was cool. Mostly, I'm not into that kind of game at all, but the I felt like the challenges were just right. They weren't completely unfair, despite, you know, how they look. They sure seem like they're supposed to be unfair, but the checkpointing is so good. They got that Super Meat Boy style of fairness where it actually is reasonably done, and it's not been recreated in a way I like by any of the clones of it. I don't feel like that game holds up at all, but I respected it when it came out, and there wasn't anything like it. It gave a sort of tension that the Kaizo world hadn't created yet, where you would be jumping across the top of the trees and the cherries would fall upwards and you would get clobbered by them, and you would from then on for the rest of the game never know and try and guess and always be wrong about what's going to happen when you jump forward. I think the difference between that and the Mario levels that make me mad are that those typically are boring little blocks that block your jump and such. I Wanna Be the Guy was really creative. It was actually a interesting kill every time. Like one time in that game, there's a Windows 98 error. I think Windows 98. That's how old that game is, right? Windows XP maybe. It just seems like the game's audio file crashed, but actually it's a fake message and it falls on your head and crushes you. There's all kinds of stuff like that in that game. They always get you in a new way. The Octo Posse has been defeated by Psychedelic Eyeball. They have moved on to Flight of Vigorous. They will be the only one on it. Psychedelic Eyeball is in bad shape in this race. See if they can pull off the 16K in their 2-minute run. OkamiOfGames is at the ending of this challenge run. Barring a death in the elevator, I don't see them losing this race. Psychedelic Eyeball is a retro games player, runs a stream channel, usually plays... I know them for playing like Prince of Persia and Doom stuff and Castlevania. They remember the Pit Crew. That's it. Okami is the winner. First done. I don't know who's winning on the right, but they've been neck and neck this whole time. I believe that Teravan is in the lead. Pretty sure the slime boss is the first world boss and Teravan is in world 2. That's my belief. There's Alf on the SMS. I've made them play this before. There's a lot to the Alf game to get what you want done. It's a Metroidvania, of course. Of course, it's a Alf Metroidvania on the SMS. Yeah. I mean, Alf came out before the Metroidvanias, so why aren't they called Alfvanias? That's a good point. Oh, Teravan took a death. That's going to set them back a ways. Looks like they're in the back of the pack now. But wait. They're not the only one. This third game is the real decider, I think. It's going to be the challenge that holds up the players. Those two have been so close the whole time, it's going to come down to the game that takes the longest for sure. It also seems like the hardest one. I don't know anything about Alf. I don't know anyone who's seen it. I feel like I only know people who've watched a couple episodes as a joke. Just to see how ridiculous the plot goes. It seems like one of the worst things that's ever been on TV. Outwardly. As an outsider looking in. That's what I see. And I'll continue to see that forever, because I'm never watching Alf. He's some kind of alien that's hiding from the government and he eats cats. That's what I know about Alf. It's some kind of comedy with a laugh track and everything, and yet it has drama in it. I don't really think about the technical specs for Alf. But I guess you're right. It would be a nightmare. Teravan is done. Those spikes are in turbo mode. Look at them go. This is what happens when your animation is only a couple of frames wide. A quandary I'm familiar with. For someone who makes a bunch of pixel art animations for little things that I do. You either make them really slow and they look a little bad, or you add a million frames and they might be too slow. You have to find the right balance. We're gonna let our players finish if they feel like finishing, but Teravan and OkamiOfGames are the ones who are staying in this tournament. This was a lower bracket match, which means that Psychedelic Eyeball has been eliminated. Jakazam is out. We were waiting on Psychedelic, who is taking 4th place. He's working on it. There were some fairly famous people in Alf, if you can believe it. Like, yeah, it definitely feels like a show that everyone knows what it is. That's why it's a little weird that I don't know anyone who's ever seen it. But it does suck, probably, so there's that. Just because it's popular means nothing. Seinfeld's mom in the show Seinfeld was on that show. That's where I know her from. I sure haven't seen her in Alf. I just know she's been on that. But, like, they had to get that Alf charisma, so they brought her in. Psych has found the slime. Where's the Alf animated series? This is the Ghostbuster game. I like the Ghostbuster movies alright. I don't know why they're like this cult film at this point. They really have a big following. They weren't that good. They're pretty good. The first one was... I like the first one pretty damn well, but the second one not as good. Still has some alright stuff in it, but damn, making like 20 games and an animated series out of it and shit? I don't know why it has all that. They really cashed in on the Ghostbusters franchise. Yeah, the animated series might actually be one of the only cartoons of its ilk that was actually decent. But why Ghostbusters? Why? We're bringing all those SMS hits. These are the regular SMS games, the ones we're not playing. When I said SMS, the players suspected Alex Kidd and the other classics on the SMS that everyone knows. You all know them. Everyone's played Alex Kidd all day long. Your Alex Kidd posters hanging on your walls. I see you. I guess for me, most of the time I see a movie and I just kind of move on. I don't hold on to it for 30 years and get mad about the remake or whatever people do with Ghostbusters. My fascination with it lived and breathed for a couple months. I think Jurassic Park when I was a kid was the only movie that I held on to for any length of time, just because I like dinosaurs a lot. Like, I was playing all kinds of dinosaur adventure games way before Jurassic Park came out. It had the benefit of just capitalizing on the thing I was interested in. And I knew I couldn't deal with it because I don't like playing in the mud, but I wanted to be a paleontologist. That was what I was all about when I was 5. Just kind of rolled with the concept of doing that, even though I knew I hated the work. Psych takes a dive. That elevator section looks tricky. I'm not sure this game is the wheelhouse that Psych is familiar with. I don't know if I've ever seen them play a game of this genre before. Well, the left side did not have a very close match, but the right side sure did. Teravan took it by a couple of minutes. Psych is still working on theirs. They had a lot of trouble with the first game, and they're still having trouble with this one. The most trouble, I think, with this game. So not a very good Psych pack that was built here. They're going to take an average amount of time on a pack that everyone else cleared really quickly. Iframing through the thunder. That's the strat. Speaking of which, I can't wait to beat Thunder Blast Man today. We have a little bit of isometric platforming going on in this game, I think. Which is why Psych missed that jump right there. They made it to the switch. All they have to do is survive. Psych has done it. Way to survive. Classic music sting for us from Psych on the way out there. That's game. I'm going to take a little break, and in probably 20-30 minutes I'll be doing the Mega Man Shuffler. Just going to get it all set up. I'm expecting to finish most of the games that are left today. We'll see though. You know how it goes when you make a prediction in that. There are 9 games left. 2 of them are on the final bosses. One of them is close to the... One of them is in the refights. 2 of them are in the refights. 3 of them are in the refights. The more I think, the more I realize. Rockman and Forte is in the refights. That's a final stage too. It's not just refights, unfortunately. Tough stage at that. And Mega Man X6. Gonna be easy refights. Reasonably easy Sigma fight if I can get my E-tanks filled up. My sub-tank. And Thunder Blast Man, a game that has been a menace to me the whole time, is on a boss that I have beaten in practice offline on a one-on-one fight without shuffling. So I've trained on a mountaintop ready to fight Sliding Man, the final boss of Thunder Blast Man. We'll see if I can pull it off while the shuffler's happening. Well, I'll be back soon. See you then. We'll have some more Mr. Triathlon for you in 2022.